Did you know that the average person listens at only 25% efficiency? It's shocking, right? We spend about 60% of our communication time listening, yet we miss most of what's being said. This gap in understanding can harm our relationships. What if you could change this with a few simple mindfulness practices? Imagine improving your relationships just by listening better. That's what we'll explore in this video. We'll dive into 6 unique mindfulness practices. These aren't your typical tips. We're talking about deep listening, mindful silence, and heart-centered connections. You'll learn strategies backed by research and expert advice. For instance, did you know that leaders who practice mindful silence are seen as more effective? Or that reflective listening can reduce stress and anxiety in relationships? These facts might surprise you, but they highlight the power of mindful communication. Stay tuned as we uncover these 6 transformative practices. From the art of deep listening to mastering body language, you'll gain practical tools to enhance your connections. Let's embark on this journey to listen with intention and transform our relationships. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. Chapter 1: The Art of Deep Listening. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation, but you're not really there? Your mind is racing, thinking of what to say next or recalling something from yesterday. Deep listening is the antidote to this common habit. It's about truly hearing the other person, beyond just their words. Deep listening requires you to be present. Research shows that we spend about 60% of our communication time listening, but we only retain 25% of what we hear. Imagine how our relationships could improve if we truly absorbed what others are saying. One strategy to enhance deep listening is to focus on the speaker's words and emotions. Try to listen without planning your response. This simple shift can make a huge difference. A great quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned mindfulness teacher, is, "The most precious gift we can offer others is our presence." Another tactic is to practice active listening. This means nodding, making eye contact, and giving verbal acknowledgements like "I see" or "Tell me more." These signals show you're engaged and interested. Interestingly, studies have found that good listeners don't just nod and smile. They ask questions that promote discovery and insight. So, next time you're in a conversation, try asking open-ended questions that encourage the other person to share more deeply. Mindfulness expert John Kabat-Zinn says, "Mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally." This approach can transform our listening habits. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing, but about understanding the speaker's perspective. Practicing deep listening can also reduce stress in relationships. When people feel heard, they are less likely to become defensive or upset. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that feeling understood by a partner during a conflict led to lower blood pressure and heart rate. To start, find a quiet space and give the speaker your full attention. Turn off your phone and other distractions. Let them know you're there for them completely. This simple act of undivided attention can strengthen your bond. Chapter 2: Mindful Silence, Power of the Pause. Silence can be powerful in conversations. It might seem counterintuitive, but sometimes saying nothing speaks volumes. This is the essence of mindful silence. Mindful silence involves taking a deliberate pause before responding. This pause gives you time to process what the other person has said and to consider your response carefully. It's a moment to breathe and reflect. One interesting fact is that our brains process speech faster than we can speak. We think at about 400 words per minute, but we speak at around 125 words per minute. This means we have plenty of time to pause and reflect without interrupting the flow of conversation. Pausing before responding can also help you avoid misunderstandings. It's easy to jump to conclusions or react emotionally. By taking a moment of silence, you can ensure your response is thoughtful and measured. Another benefit of mindful silence is that it shows you value what the other person is saying. It indicates that you are taking their words seriously and not just waiting for your turn to talk. This can enhance mutual respect and understanding. Try this technique next time you're in a heated discussion. Instead of responding immediately, take a deep breath and count to 3. This brief pause can diffuse tension and lead to a more productive conversation. Interestingly, a study by the Harvard Business Review found that leaders who practice mindful silence are perceived as more effective. They make better decisions and are more trusted by their teams. This shows that the power of the pause is not just for personal relationships but also for professional settings. Silence can also give the other person space to continue their thought. Sometimes, people need a moment to gather their ideas. By not rushing to fill the silence, you allow them the opportunity to express themselves more fully. Remember, silence is not awkward unless we make it so. Embrace the quiet moments in your conversations. They can be opportunities for deeper connection and understanding. Chapter 3: Heart-Centered Listening. Heart-centered listening is about connecting on a deeper emotional level. It's not just about hearing words, but about feeling the emotions behind them. This practice can create a stronger bond and a deeper understanding between you and the person you're talking to. Start by setting an intention to listen with your heart. This means being fully present and open to the other person's emotions. An interesting fact is that emotions are contagious. Research shows that we can pick up on others' emotions through non-verbal cues like tone of voice and facial expressions. So, tune in with empathy. One strategy is to practice self-awareness. Notice your own emotional state before you engage in a conversation. If you're feeling stressed or distracted, take a moment to center yourself. This will help you be more receptive to the other person's emotions. According to Brené Brown, a researcher and author, empathy has no script. There is no right way or wrong way to do it. It's simply listening, holding space, withholding judgment, emotionally connecting, and communicating that incredibly healing message of you are not alone. This quote beautifully encapsulates the essence of heart-centered listening. Another effective tactic is to use affirming language. Phrases like "I understand," "That sounds really tough," or "I'm here for you" can make the other person feel seen and heard. These words show that you're not just listening with your ears, but with your heart. Research published in the Journal of Communication found that empathetic listening can reduce stress and anxiety in relationships. When people feel understood, they are more likely to open up and share their true feelings. You can also practice mirroring emotions. Reflect back the emotions you perceive from the other person. If they are excited, share in their excitement. If they are sad, show that you feel their sadness. This mirroring creates a sense of connection and empathy. Heart-centered listening also involves being non-judgmental. Try to accept the other person's feelings without trying to change them or offer solutions. Sometimes, just being there and listening is enough. Chapter 4: Body Language Awareness. Body language plays a huge role in communication. Experts say that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal. So, if you want to improve your listening skills, pay attention to body language. One strategy is to observe the other person's body language. Notice their facial expressions, gestures, and posture. These cues can give you insight into how they're feeling and what they're really saying. For example, crossed arms can indicate defensiveness or discomfort, while open arms can signal openness and acceptance. Similarly, leaning in can show interest, while leaning back might suggest disinterest or detachment. You can also use your own body language to show that you're engaged. Maintain eye contact, nod your head, and face the speaker. These non-verbal signals show that you're present and paying attention. A study by the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, found that body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions are critical in conveying emotions and attitudes. So, if you want to truly listen, don't just focus on the words. Pay attention to the whole person. Another tactic is to mirror the other person's body language. This can create a sense of rapport and empathy. If they are leaning forward, lean forward too. If they are smiling, smile back. This mirroring can make the other person feel more understood and connected. Remember, body language can also convey your own emotions. If you're feeling tense or anxious, it will show. So, practice relaxing your body and adopting open, positive postures. This will help create a more comfortable and open environment for communication. An interesting fact is that body language can even influence your own emotions. Studies have shown that adopting a power pose, such as standing with your hands on your hips, can increase confidence and reduce stress. So, use your body language to boost your own emotional state. Chapter 5: Empathic Echo, Reflective Listening. Reflective listening, or the empathic echo, is a powerful tool for showing you understand and value the speaker's perspective. It's about reflecting back what you hear to confirm comprehension and validate feelings. Start by paraphrasing what the speaker has said. For example, if someone shares a problem, you might respond with, "So, what I'm hearing is you're feeling frustrated because." This shows you're actively listening and trying to understand their viewpoint. Dr. Carl Rogers, a pioneer in humanistic psychology, emphasized the importance of reflective listening. He said, "When someone really hears you without passing judgment on you, without trying to take responsibility for you, without trying to mold you, it feels damn good." An interesting fact is that reflective listening can actually improve your own understanding. Studies have shown that paraphrasing helps reinforce the information in your memory, making you a better listener and communicator. Another effective strategy is to mirror the speaker's emotions. If they are excited, reflect that excitement in your tone and expression. If they are upset, show empathy through your voice and body language. This creates a deeper emotional connection. A study published in the Journal of Counseling Psychology found that reflective listening can significantly enhance the quality of interpersonal interactions. It helps both parties feel heard and understood, which can reduce conflicts and improve relationships. To practice reflective listening, focus on the speaker's key points and emotions. Reflect back not only their words but also their feelings. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed because of all the work on your plate." Remember, the goal of reflective listening is not to agree or disagree, but to understand. It's about creating a safe space for the speaker to express their thoughts and feelings. You can also use summarizing as a reflective listening technique. At the end of the conversation, summarize the main points to ensure you've understood everything correctly. This shows that you've been paying attention and value what the speaker has shared. Reflective listening can also help you stay present in the conversation. By focusing on paraphrasing and summarizing, you're less likely to get distracted or think about what to say next. Chapter 6: Mindful Conflict Resolution. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but how we handle it can make all the difference. Mindful conflict resolution involves approaching disagreements with calmness and empathy, turning potential arguments into opportunities for growth. Start by practicing self-awareness. Notice your own emotional reactions and take a moment to breathe before responding. This pause can help you approach the situation with a clear and calm mind. An interesting fact is that mindfulness can actually change the brain. Research from Harvard Medical School found that mindfulness practice can reduce the size of the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for stress and anxiety. This means you're less likely to react impulsively in a conflict. Another strategy is to use I statements instead of you statements. For example, say "I feel hurt when," instead of "you always." This shifts the focus from blaming to expressing your own feelings and needs. Mindfulness expert Thich Nhat Hanh suggests using loving speech. He says, "Speak the truth, but not to punish." We should use words that inspire confidence, joy, and hope. This approach can help de-escalate conflicts and foster a more positive dialogue. Listening is also crucial in mindful conflict resolution. Practice active and reflective listening to ensure you understand the other person's perspective. This can help you find common ground and work towards a solution. Research published in the Journal of Peace Psychology found that mindful conflict resolution techniques can lead to more constructive outcomes and improved relationships. It's about approaching conflicts with a mindset of understanding and collaboration. Another effective tactic is to take breaks if needed. If the conflict becomes too heated, suggest taking a break to cool down and collect your thoughts. This can prevent things from escalating further. You can also practice empathy by putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Try to understand their perspective and validate their feelings. This doesn't mean you have to agree, but showing empathy can help to escalate the situation. Mindful conflict resolution also involves finding win-win solutions. Instead of trying to win the argument, look for compromises that meet both parties' needs. This collaborative approach can strengthen your relationship and build mutual respect. Finally, remember that resolving conflicts mindfully is a skill that takes practice. Be patient with yourself and the other person.